Today we're going to talk about the TV series, The Haunting of Hill House. The horror genre has not always been a favorite of mine until like a couple of years ago. But there is something about watching a scary movie or thriller or whatever with friends that is so unifying and so enjoyable. Because you get to overcome a common enemy together. There's something bonding about that, and I really enjoy that. I don't love the dark, demonic nastiness. That's not something that's appealing to me. What I do enjoy, though, if the movie's done well and the spirit behind it is hopeful, is going on this scary nightmare with people that I care about, and then coming out the other side with hope and victory and faith, and having survived some really scary thing throughout the process. Obviously, that can be subjective, and some people won't agree, and that's fine, but I enjoy it. And so, a mentor of mine, who's a missionary in another country, actually, I mentioned that I really liked thrillers and sometimes some horror movies or whatever, and so he mentioned this show that he had just recently watched. He's like, if you like this, you'd love this show. And I was like, what? He told me that the way that they shoot this show and the way they do the timing of the camera work and the scare moments is so different than any other show or movie he's ever seen like this. And so they scare you in moments you're not expecting and in ways you wouldn't expect. And there's this one moment later in the series. He said that he was alone in the dark late at night watching this because his wife wouldn't watch it with him for obvious reasons. And the moment happened, they scare you in a certain way, and he had to stop the show because he was so scared. Like his heart was beating so hard, he thought he was having a heart attack. He was so afraid, and I was like, "What?" Which made me want to watch the show even more. So I got a bunch of friends together and we watched it. We got together like 3 different times just to watch it. It's a 10-episode show, and we just at the end, just like we have to get this done, and just went through it. And sure enough, that moment came, and like I knew at some point it was going to happen. I didn't know when. I was not prepared like for this moment. It happened. There was probably 7 of us in the room. Everyone in the room. It was like 11 o'clock at night. We all screamed so loud immediately, and several of us like ducked into the couch and covered ourselves in blankets, and we were screaming. And I don't do that usually. It's happened a couple of times. We all screamed so loud. I actually thought my neighbor was going to come over and yell at me. It was awful. But so, and then like we screamed for a good like 3 seconds. We couldn't stop screaming. It was so scary. We had to pause it, and then we just like we're all panting, and then we like yelled some more, and then we laughed hysterically and just like freaked out together about what just happened. And we talked for like 5 minutes, and then went back in. So it's a show about 5 kids, right, who survived this house growing up. And so the third daughter, the third oldest child, the middle child, wears gloves all the time. And you find out, episode 3, the reason she wears gloves is she can feel the spiritual memory in physical stuff, right? And some of you guys who've seen things that I've talked about like know that I talk about that stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. And so she has to go through life learning how to navigate intimacy with other people, being in certain spaces, the way she interacts with the world around her. She's had to make some interesting choices and some compromises to navigate this place and to feel sane and safe and all that. So you watch her as an adult make decisions and choices in her relationship with her family members, in her love life, in her professional career. Like you see that outplaying. And I love that. I personally feel I have an affinity for it because, you know, the whole discerning spirits thing in my world and just knowing how I've had to make compromises and adjust how I approach life. I just really identified with it. You bounce back and forth to their childhood and then their adult life throughout the whole series. And it's so interesting, some things they do to mess with you and the way that the story plays out in present tense. You're like, wait, what? Is this happening? We had so many theories going on, and at one point I was like, oh no, we figured it out. This is what's happening, and that sucks. We probably figured this out already. And then they do an episode where they play out what you think is going on, and then that's actually not what's happening. You're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And you freak out because you don't know what's going on. You're like, these people know what we're thinking. They're making us think something, and then we think we came to it, and then they showed us that they knew we were thinking it, and then it's not it. And so that was also really fun. It was like twisty. Like, what are these people doing to us? And also, this is crazy, and some people will not like this, but throughout the show, there are ghosts planted on the set that as the characters are going through the set and just doing whatever, the ghosts never get acknowledged. They don't know they're there, and only the viewer can see them. I'm getting chills as I'm talking about it. It's crazy. There was a moment I remember we were watching it. This girl Theo had to go down in this cellar to figure out what was happening at a lower level of that house. So terrifying, right? And so she goes down this like rickety ladder thing into the cellar.
And someone was like, oh my gosh, I saw a face in the ladder. We're like, what? And we rewound it. He's like, I'm telling you.
We rewound, 10 seconds, went back through it, paused it. There was a face in the ladder, and it had nothing to do with the story. And it was just part of the set. It was so scary. We screamed when we saw it
Because it's so haunting that they would make a show and
put so much detail into the set and not actually utilize it in
the story. It was crazy. And that happened a few times.
So once we caught onto this, we're like, oh my gosh, what else is going on in this show that we're not paying attention to?
It might actually be fun to go back and watch it and just see the different things they didn't catch the first time. But
anyway, all that to say, you guys, if you don't like horror, you will not like this show. But if you can get past horror, there's so much in this show that's not just horror that
I would recommend. I think it's really rewarding. Seeing the
brothers and sisters fight and have to come to terms with their own emotional trauma and the decisions they've made about relationships and trust, and
the acting is so good. There's one episode that they
have, I think, probably 5 camera
shots because they go for, and it's
an hour-long episode. Because the shot goes for so long, and they're doing these scary
moments of things happening, and you're just being brought along with the viewpoint. It's so fascinating. They did such a good job making this show.
If you can get past the horror thing and you want to watch a good show, I'm like, this show is awesome. And the spirit behind it is hopeful. There is dark, demonic stuff for sure. So don't get me wrong, that stuff's there.
I personally don't struggle with being afraid of that stuff. It's never really
bothered me. So I understand that's not normal. I know a lot of people have trouble watching those things or whatever. It doesn't affect me very much.
I mean, it doesn't affect me really. I get jump scared, right? But that stuff doesn't linger. I'm not like, oh no, evil or whatever. No, that doesn't happen to me. So I don't have an issue with this stuff. And so because that stuff doesn't bother me, I can keep going.
And it's this is really fun. But if that stuff does bother you, I'm like, this is probably not for you. But if it's not a big deal, there's so much in it that's
so rewarding to watch the characters develop, watch their relationships play out. You get to hear their history and see what's happening presently. And
fascinating show. Would highly recommend it. And remember, guys, when you're watching a movie or show, you're never alone. Perfect. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the horror genre in general. Put them in the comments below.